Hello. Are you ready? Are you ready to go on a journey? A journey from busy to more, from busy to better. Now, I'm going to start with a story.
And we're going to let her tell that story in just a second. Hey, everybody. My name is Cody Hand with the Speakers Collaborative, an innovative program that gives public speakers the stage to get all the stuff they need to speak. Also share stories with our audiences. Glad to have you today. Really glad to have our next guest, Jillian Totman. Jillian was on our most recent stage in Cary, North Carolina, and I'm going to bring her on right now to have a conversation with us. So welcome, Jillian. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm great. You're coming in loud and clear. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I'm glad it finally heated up for the day.
Oh, no, I was loving this morning. It was great.
It was great. I went outside at 6 a.m. and it was 60, and I wished it would stay that way all day.
I know, yeah. But, you got to take the good with the bad.
Here we are. We wouldn't appreciate the 60 if we didn't have the 85, although
That's
I think
right.
it might. All right, Jillian, welcome. Why don't you spend a few minutes telling us a little bit about you?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm Jillian Totman. I am in North Carolina and loving the North Carolina weather. We joke, but I do love that we get all 4 seasons usually. Although my 4-year-old, interesting fact, has never seen snow. So we have to fix that. And I currently work in the healthcare space in government relations and am a mom of 2 kids and a wife and daughter and sister and friend and all the things.
You left lawyer off the list.
I am a lawyer as well, but that gets mixed reception. So I don't always lead with that one.
I don't know whether to lead with lobbyist or lawyer sometimes. Anyway, so tell us an interesting fact about yourself.
Oh, so this is something that I don't even think Cody. So I absolutely love British murder mysteries. The whole Agatha Christie, Miss Marple, Poirot. I've seen all of the shows, all different versions from all different time periods. And in that same vein, I am actually, and I have 2 books in the works and have 4 more books outlined that are also murder mysteries set in modern day. So, yeah.
I had no idea. That is amazing. When are we going to be able to read these?
Oh, that is the big question. One of these books I've been working on for the last 15 years. That was my first kind of peek into it. And then I reached out and started working with a book coach a couple of years ago. And that's when the others kind of popped out. So hopefully by the end of this year, I'll have 2 done with more in the works.
Nice. All right. You just spoke on our stage, 6 weeks ago already. I can't believe it's that long. And your talk was very widely and well received. And it's gotten a lot of hits on the YouTube channel. So if you'd like to watch it, it is on our YouTube channel, which is the Speakers Collaborative. Just search for Jillian's name right there. Tell us, Jillian, what you spoke on then and any other topics that you cover.
Sure. So I am very passionate about the busyness of life nowadays. And you hear a lot of people say make space for play, which is absolutely a part of it. But what I found just through pure falling flat on my face, as I talk about in my talk, a pivotal moment in my life, sometimes busy can get in the way of even being productive. You think that you're getting more, but really you're cutting back on quality and you're cutting back on where you want to go. So instead of, taking the stair steps up, you divert one way or another, and you all of a sudden realize you're not even on the path that you wanted to be on to get to your end goal. So with all the noise that is available now, which is wonderful. I mean, it's wonderful that you can connect to the internet and you can connect to people all across the world, that you can access information. That I saw on social media recently, somebody saying, we used to ask our uncle, that question that was like, I don't know, why is the sky blue? And they would give us some answer, and then we'd be 40 and figure out they were wrong. We now have access to that information. My dad hates it. He talks all the time. We'll be talking about a topic and he'll start talking about it, and then all of a sudden we're going, no, that's not right, it says here, and he's like, put the phone away. But we have all this noise because of that access and because of that information. We have a lot of opportunity coming at us, and we have to be able to discern the right path for us, the right path for others. And so I'm very much in scaling down the busy to open up your life to more.
That's awesome. We're going to hear a little bit about that from you here in a minute, but I wanted to talk to you. I realize it's only been 6 weeks, but tell me what's happened in your life since the Speakers Collaborative. I'll preview it. You're getting great hits on YouTube. Some of our highest traffic is going to your talks. So tell us what's happened to you.
That is bonkers. And I want to say to people that have watched it, thank you so much. I said in my talk, part of the busyness is trade-offs and spending time. So to those of you that have watched it and also that have provided feedback, good and bad, I really appreciate that. So thank you so much to those that have. I was not expecting, it's not surprising, but I was not expecting the response that I got from the talk. I had people reach out to me that I had no idea were watching. And again, thank them so much for watching and supporting me. But they reached out and they said, oh my gosh, this is my life. This is where I am right now. And I feel like a hamster running on a wheel and I'm not going anywhere. And these tips really helped. And Cody, I think we might get to this question, but I'm going to go ahead and hit it. I did this Speakers Collaborative because for most of my professional career, I have been the one in the background that has, and I loved it and I still love it, helped to do research and prop somebody else up to get up on stage, and proverbial and actual stage, created the talking points, created the speech and the research. And I really did this because I wanted the opportunity to stand up and see what it felt like. I have more to say on just what the program meant to me because it's more than that. But I say all that to say I wasn't selling anything. I wasn't necessarily expecting any kind of response. But since then, I've had so many, not just women, which I think we typically see a lot more busyness, trying to multitask, maybe from the female community, but I've had men reach out too that have said, I have been throwing darts at a dartboard and I'm hitting the walls and I'm not even coming close to the bullseye. And instead of taking a step back and kind of assessing why we're not hitting that bullseye, they just keep throwing and they're exhausting themselves. So I think that this is a topic that's very relevant to individuals and especially in our times. And it's actually kind of, it has invigorated me to, it's kind of ignited a passion in me to do more research and to talk through with other people kind of the struggles they're having and see how I can help to declutter their lives to really get that life that you want.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, we talk about your talk probably once a week at the dinner table about saying no and how to gracefully exit something. I think it's really, it's very memorable. Part of the Speakers Collaborative process, we have several meetings ahead of time. We talk about how to prep for the stage. We get on stage. We do all the things that you need to produce the event. So tell me, what is, from the beginning to the very end where we have the reception, what's your most memorable part of the Speakers Collaborative?
Cody, I have to say, I have talked to so many people about the collaborative, and I probably talk about it more than once a week. There's a lot of memorable things from the collaborative. The sessions leading up to the actual speaking engagement, connecting with other individuals that have passions about their topics, really being there for one another, solidifying those relationships, even after, and keeping up with people and cheering them on. I really thought about this. There's not one memory. The entire experience is a memory to me. And it's like in a package all wrapped up with a bow, because I think it's done really well with the 3 weeks leading up to it that day. And then even with this closing session, helping those that go through your cohort, that go through your program, to assess what happened and that. So the whole, I think sitting around the table, we got together for our cohort in person before the live event and listened to everybody's talks and gave feedback. That was really memorable, but really, having the Zooms before that, where you coach, Cody coaches on, speaking tips and best ways to help get your message so that it's heard. The whole thing was just incredibly memorable. I know I'm not answering your question, but it's really like, in my mind, the memory of it is all grouped together in one big present. And I just want to thank you for that gift. It was a great experience.
Thank you. Hopefully more people will take me up on it. Jillian, again, thank you, Jillian Totman, for joining us today. As we do every week, I'm going to turn the stage over to you and let you spend about 5 or so minutes talking with our audience about whatever you want to share. So the stage is yours, and I will see you in a few minutes.
So one of the things that I didn't get to really address or talk about in the limited time that I had for the Speakers Collaborative was really, before you start saying no, how do you get there? I struggled with saying no because I did not know what my vision looked like. I had a vague idea of what I wanted my life to look like, things that I was interested in. And so I would say yes to things that sort of fit, but ultimately, when I drilled down and got down to it, were spinning me in directions that were not taking me towards where I wanted to go. And this is something that you can apply in your personal life as well as at work. Brene Brown calls this, you can Google Brene Brown and painting done. She has a great quote on your vision and figuring out what done means. What does your vision look like? And so at work, you have goals that you're supposed to hit, and those goals are supposed to take the company to where the company ultimately wants to go. Well, it's the same way in your personal life. You have this end goal that you want to get to. For me, it was, think about when I'm 80 and sitting in a rocking chair, hopefully with my significant other, my best friend. When I look back, what do I want to feel? What emotion do I want to have? What do I want to have accomplished? And when I went through my process, in order to find that vision, I sat down and I wrote down a list of priorities. And then I took those priorities and I created a vision for where ultimately I wanted to go. Setting that vision is vitally important in helping you to discern what to say no to. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, and in his book, Be Useful: 7 Tools for Life, it is one of my new favorites. If you haven't read it, listen to it on Audible, because he reads it and he has the best voice inflections, and you can really hear some of the sarcasm and just hear his personality behind it. But in that book, he talks about setting a clear vision, and he talks about really seeing it. So he talks about when he ran for governor, he visualized himself sitting at the desk. What would his desk look like? What would it feel like? And that feeling and that vision, that visual, helped him to make clearer, better decisions throughout the process as he ran for governor. He tells another story that I think is really interesting, that when he first went to Hollywood, he was offered certain roles and he actually turned them down, and people thought he was crazy because they're like, no, you need to get this role and that'll help get your foot in the door. And he said, no, but it's not, I want to be a leading man, and these roles are not leading man roles, and they're not going to help me get there. And ultimately it helped him hone his vision and hone where he put his time and his effort into trying to get that leading man role. So we really need to hone our vision. So I sat down and I visualized what it would look like when my painting was done. And then I went through a coaching program. I talked about it in the talk, Brilliant Balance, with Cheryl Ann Skolnicki. And it's a phenomenal coaching program. And in it, she has you do a time study and you look at every minute of the day. And I looked at my time study and I looked at my list of priorities that I had actually sitting there when I went through the program. I'd done these priorities a couple of years before. And when I looked at the list of priorities and I looked at my time study, it was lopsided. It was completely upside down. And immediately a light bulb came on and I realized I have to say no to these things that are at the top of my time-consuming list that are not on my priority list. And that was my first realization, and first really confident, these are the things I need to say no to. And so, I really think before you even get to the gracious no, before you even get to, having grace with yourself and how to say no, you first have to figure out what you're going to say no to. And so really setting that vision is going to be top priority for doing that, to get to where you can prune your life from the clutter and prune out all those things that are distracting you from your painting, your done painting. We talk about this in business too. Most times I have found when I have bosses that have a clear picture of a vision of here's where I want you to be. Here is when you're finished, here's what it's going to look like. That is something you hear in business, in the organizational world, that sets you up for success because you know what you're looking for, and you know that what you can say no to because it's not going to get you to those goals. So you have to do that with your life too. And I think the two best ways to do that is to sit down and make your priority list. And really, when you sit down and make that priority list, really be honest with yourself. Back then when I started this process, I had a lot of, I want this. I want to be this person. And it wasn't actually what I wanted, but it was what I was told I should want, or what I maybe thought I should want. So it took a couple months for me to I actually did 4 different drafts of my priority list. I made one and then I scratched stuff out, and it took me 4 months to get down to what it was. So make that priority list, do a time study, and then kind of measure the two against each other. And that's where I would suggest starting if you're trying to declutter your life.
And how often do you revisit your priority list?
Oh, that is such a great question, because it is an absolute must that you do that. I would suggest doing it at least once a year, but I will also tell you there are times that I do it way more than that. Last year, I started a new job, and I'm with an incredible organization now. And when I was debating taking this new position, working for a different company, I revisited my priority list. And I had to add in because I knew, so my old job, I didn't travel very much. In the new job, I travel 3 weeks out of the month. And so I had to look at my priority list and my time study, and I had to figure out if it fit. And to be honest, I shifted a little bit in my priority list, and I shifted a little bit of where I spend my time to make room for it. But it has opened up so many more doors, and not just professionally, but because I'm filled, my cup is filled. I'm able to do more because I made the space for that job. So I think you do it at least once a year. You could do it more than that, and definitely when you're making a big life decision, to revisit that priority list for sure.
Yeah. A decision like being a speaker. Jillian, what are you reading these days? You read a lot. What are you reading?
I do. I try to read as much as I can. Right now, I am reading Decluttering Your Mental Mess. Excuse me, I'm going to cough again. Excuse me. And that is just a great book for how to fight a lot of, I think, the things that get in our way for saying no. It's guilt, shame, a lot of inner kind of turmoil, and decluttering your mental mess kind of helps with that inner monologue in your head, and definitely is proving useful in having the spine, the backbone to say no to things. So.
Yeah. And then, so I think you'd recommend that book. What other books would you recommend?
So I talk about both of these books in my talk. Essentialism by Greg McKeown is outstanding. This is really the beginning of my journey. This was the book that really started it all. So I definitely recommend Essentialism by Greg McKeown. And another book that I talk about in my talk is Pick 3 by Randy Zuckerberg. And what I really love about this book is she talks about the opportunity of shifting, and how just because you say no to something today doesn't mean you can't say yes to it tomorrow. And so it helps you realize that saying no isn't finite. So both of those books are fabulous.
Right. I love the way Brene Brown says it. She says your response shouldn't be no. It should be ask me again, but no, not right now.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, I love that. That's really cool. What questions do you have for me?
Cody, I would love to ask you, with your collaborative going to different cities, how can folks that are in North Carolina, if they're interested and they can't travel, are there other opportunities for them to get involved in the Speakers Collaborative, and what's up next for the Speakers Collaborative locally?
That's a great question. I have so many people. Every time I do a collaborative, I have 6 more people who want to do it. And so I guarantee you, Jillian, that sometime between now and this time next year, we will have another collaborative in the Triangle. It may be at the same place, the Cary Theater or the Cary Art Center was a great venue for that. And I loved the staff, and the stage was perfect. Probably will be there unless I can get a place, maybe Chapel Hill area or in Raleigh. But we will be having another one in North Carolina, I promise.
Ooh, I love that teaser. So for everybody who's interested, they need to stay tuned. It sounds like there's some awesome things coming.
Stay tuned. And if you want to, you can join us in Frisco, Texas, which is just north of Dallas, on August 27th. That is our next edition of the Speakers Collaborative. That's the Speakers Collaborative Texas edition. We have a couple of spots left if anybody wants to fly in or lives there and wants to do it too. Jillian, what advice would you have for people who are kind of hanging on the fence? So last year, after the Speakers Collaborative in Cary, you took me out, we had coffee, and you said, I want to do it. I just don't know. And I'll tell you, the Jillian that showed up on that stage was the Jillian I've known all along. That I was always a little confused as to why you were so hesitant to do it. But you did it. And so what would you tell people who are sitting on the fence or sitting in the audience thinking, I've got to do that, but they just can't make the decision?
So what I would say is you do a great job of preparing your cohorts and of preparing each class of folks that go through the Speakers Collaborative. So for anyone who is concerned that they may not have the ability to get up on stage or to even write a speech, um, you know, to go ahead and sign up, because the whole point of this is not the point is the end, but there's so much that leads up to the end. I mean, it is a whole month-long process of work, and you're not doing it alone. You know, Cody's there. He brings in people to talk to you, and you have your fellow cohort. In fact, Ashley was such a blessing to me. I sent her my speech before I did it, and she provided feedback, which helped, move things along. So it's, you're not going through it alone. So if you're worried about it, the whole point of it is to learn and then perform. So,
Yep. Man, that was good. So, what do you know now that you wish you had known a year ago when you first took me out for coffee to talk about this?
Oh, I wish I knew how big of a supportive community that I actually had. Like I said, I had people reach out to me that had watched my talk that I never knew were tuning in. I posted it in several places, and people didn't necessarily tell me they were going to watch. And then I had this like outpouring of people that were like, that was so great. So, if you're teetering on the fence and you're worried, like, oh my gosh, I don't know, do it, because there's such a great supportive community that will hold you up before, during, and after. So right. Definitely.
Yeah. And we keep working. So I'm still working with Jillian on some of the collateral that we're producing for her. As part of the package, everybody gets everything from their full reels to a 1-pager that I'm still working on the colors for Jillian. I'm not happy with them yet. The headshots, the reels, this appearance. Everybody is invited to join us here on the studio. So we do a lot for our speakers because we love watching people discover their love of the stage. And Jillian, you're going to be an author soon, a published author, and I can't wait to have you back on stage to hawk your book. I'm excited about that too. Let's think. What is another little piece of wisdom you can share with us, Jillian, in the last few minutes?
Oh, I just will stick to my same script of don't be afraid to give a gracious no, because there's always going to be a trade-off. And, a lot of people say to me, well, I don't have a choice when it comes to work. And I think, when your boss asks you to do something, you most of the time have to do it. But what you can do that is not a no, that I frequently do, is say, how would you like me to prioritize this? And then, because I think one of the mistakes I made as a young professional is thinking that my boss knew everything that was on my plate and my calendar. And there's just too much going on. They don't. And so it's very quick, and you don't have to go into your whole calendar. You don't have to be defensive. Just ask, these are the 3 things I'm working on. Which one should I prioritize? Because essentially what he doesn't what he or she does not prioritize, you're saying no to. You're just letting your boss say no instead of you.
There you go. So. I love it. So I would recommend everybody pay attention to Jillian. She's going to go places. Check out her full talk on our YouTube channel, which again is the Speakers Collaborative on YouTube. If you are interested in joining us on stage, go to thespeakerscollaborative.com and sign up. We've still got a few spots left for that August 27th Frisco, Texas production. We are selling tickets for that, and they're on the website as well. Jillian, I ask everybody this, and I wonder if you know what it is. Do you know what our tagline is now?
I don't think I do.
So we've been saying, we built you a stage, get on it.
Right.
But for Texas, we're saying, we built y'all a stage, get on it.
Perfect. That works in North Carolina too.
It does. All right, Jillian, thank you so much. Hang out for a minute. I'm going to end this. Thank you for joining us. Thank you all for joining us. We are taking next week off. The week after that, we've got some more of our alums joining us and some more experts. Be sure to check us out at thespeakerscollaborative.com and on our YouTube channel. Everybody have a fantastic 4th of July. Thank you.